So today, this is just a really neat fold. And if you're familiar with Hedi Kyle, she is a book artist. Since I have a love for origami, her stuff is just amazing. Here's the basic thing. It's a very easy fold. Um, you would need a three. It's basically an aspect ratio of a 3 by 4. So basically, this is a 9 by 12 sheet of paper. That's what I'm folding from. And if you only have an 8.5 by 11 sheet, you can also fold from that, because that's approximately a 3 by 4 ratio. If you want to go large, like something like this big, this is a 14 by 18. So basically, you want your width to be 4 times and 3 times the height of your height. It's kind of a weird. I'm not a math person, so I try to figure it out. There is an aspect ratio calculator on the internet, which is really helpful. So if you type in aspect ratio, you can get all your paper sizes. If you want to do a small size, like a 3 by 6, it wouldn't be 3 by 6. It might be a 3 by 5. But anyway, we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to fold this. What's great about it is not only is it really cute as an envelope, but it makes an amazing book with pockets. So you've got this book. That's what we're doing today. We're going to make a little book, and this little guy holds, several things. So like I've got on this one, it's a hotel card, but I could use use other things. I could put maybe any small card or something about this size. This is actually, I don't remember the size. I will give you the size of that shortly. But this is a really nice little structure so that you can make a little gift. Like, let's say you wanted to do a gift card, or in some kind of write a journal, or if you want to just have your license for notes or something. Anyway, it's just a nice little structure for that. So we're going to make it today, and it just goes together so nice. So today we have a 9 by 12. These papers, let me get my ruler. These papers I cut let's see, what is it for sure? They were just under 6 inches. I think I did cut them originally 6 inches by 4 1/4. What I did though is when I folded them all in half, I basically folded the whole thing in half like this. Then usually when you're creating a book, if you're folding a signature like this, especially with several pages, what happens is the inside pages tend to want to stick out, and it leaves like an uneven edge. So what I do is I make my folds and I get it as tight as I can inside, and then I take a cutter and I just cut that excess that's sticking out. So that's just a nice little tip for you. We will assemble these. You'll need to do that. To make the book, you'll need a little awl or something sharp. A bone folder is handy. Needle and thread. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just plain thread's fine. And your 9 by 12 paper to make your folded journal cover. Basically, that's what it is. So I'm going to start. So get your paper out, and if it's 8.5 by 11, that's fine. Go ahead and use that. And you're going to start with your pattern side facing down in a landscape position. And what we're going to do first is we're going to take, I'm not going to fold it in half. I need to find the center of this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paper, and I'm not going to press it down and fold it yet. In fact, I'm not going to at all, but I'm finding those edges. Perfect. Just need to line up this top edge inside, and now I'm just going to pinch the sides, just a little pinch right on the either side, and that's going to show me where my center is without creating a crease here. So I'm going to go ahead now and fold these outer edges towards that crease, that center, that pinch that I just made on both sides. Then I'm going to go ahead and crease that. So now fold the second piece right to that center as well, with the second edge. And if you have some glue too handy, that might help too. I just realized I'll tell you why we need glue maybe. So now if you open it up, you've got, and kind of put it oriented like more vertically, you'll have you have the two folds on either side, and what you're going to do is just basically fold it in half in this direction. Just take and make a nice fold, and nice crisp fold so you don't have to redo it. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to fold this edge. It doesn't matter which actually, but whatever edge. We're going to fold one edge to the center crease, or that center crease line. And then we're going to reverse that. This fold that I just made is a valley. I'm going to make it into a mountain. I'm just doing that by reversing it. And because this paper's thick, it's a little harder to do that. I might just fold this backwards, but basically you want that you want that fold reversed. And probably another way to do this is just to turn it over and then make your fold this way, and then we can resume what we were doing. But so now I have a mountain fold here, and I have my valley here. And what I need to do is take this mountain, and I'm going to take this mountain and I'm going to bring it to that crease that's right here. I'm just taking it, and I'm taking it, and I'm taking it to match that crease, or just to line up, and then I'm going to fold, and then actually I'm creasing underneath. There's the creasing is happening under this. You can feel it. You can feel that layer underneath. So I have that. So what we have, so you can look at it, if you look at it from the side, it's like a Z, it looks like a Z. And so now what we're doing, and I don't know if you see this because this is black on the other side, but I'm going to take these little corners, and there's a, this line here where you kind of basically where that underlying, it's basically you're going to take this corner. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it to this edge right here. There's an edge right there. You can see this folded crease here. That's where I'm going to bring my corner to. It doesn't make sense at first because you'll see this little thing that overlaps, but don't worry, it's okay. You'll see that little thing poking out. It's supposed to. So take this next corner and do the same thing. Bring it to that edge. So now we have this with these little funny corners. Now if you fold it, just fold it back. Just don't make any new creases. Just unfold that whole part. And I'm going to take these little edges and I'm going to fold those to this crease right here. And I see this crease that's right along here. I'm going to take this edge and fold it right to this part here. So now, what am I doing? Now I'm going to fold that back. Basically I'm putting fold back right back to where it was. I'm not making anything new. I'm just going to turn everything over. So what I've got now, and I don't know if you can see it because it is black, but this fold here, you've got a little pocket kind of going on. And so now I'm just going to fold what's already there. I'm not making new creases. I'm just going to fold right on the creases that are already there. I'm just closing it up on the creases that are already folded. And see, my pockets are right here. You can see the pockets are already made. So now we need to just kind of just adjust this, like mine sort of shifted a little bit. So I'm adjusting it a little bit. So I want this bottom edge, I want these to meet nicely right here. So this is already done. This part's already done. We're not messing with that. Now the next step is we're going to take our bottom left and our bottom right corners, and we're just going to fold those to that center area here on both sides. Nice sharp crease right now is a good idea. We're not really going to unfold them, really, even though my paper is just popping everywhere, but it's okay. What you're going to do is take this edge, this long edge here, not this one in the middle, but this long edge, and you're going to fold it back. Yeah, that's what you want. You want it to be this edge, basically this folded edge here on this part. You want to fold that back to touch the back of that. And now you're going to need to score. And I would use a bone folder or something, a back of a table knife. Just score right along where that folder, just kind of give it a score, just to kind of get it ready, because you're going to do something that's something that's kind of unusual. So you need to score this part that's right. And that will help us with the next move. In our stuff, our folder is almost done. So along that scored edge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to, it's kind of a real simple fold or simple move. I'm going to open up this just a little bit. And I'm pivoting, and I don't know if you can see this, so I should probably bring it closer. But I'm taking this whole thing and I'm going to just, on that score line that I just made, I'm just going to lay this thing, kind of open it up and lay it flat, right on the score line. And I don't know if you see that. I'm going to do it again, and this time I'm going to bring my camera closer so you can see it. Okay. All right, so here I'm going to show you again on this side. Actually, I'll just unfold it so you can see what I did, because it was a little hard to see, I think. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just opening this up, and on that score line, you remember I made a score line right here. And on that score line, I'm just going to take that and take this little inside, flap it, and I'm pivoting it right on that score line. And what that does is it kind of looks like a little kite or something. It kind of flattens really nicely where you can see the crease lines kind of lining up here. And this part, this would be your white, and this is your pattern. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to just open it using that score line, which is right there. I'm going to just take it and open it up. And it's actually really easy when you kind of see it. Now I have it on both sides. So you can see I've got these two little flap things. And in a minute, I'm going to ask if everybody got that. Or if you didn't get that, let me know. Chime in. If you got it, I won't hear anything, but let me know if you weren't able to get that. So now we've got these two things. So if you just get them kind of up and around, up and out from underneath here, what you're going to do is tuck one of these into the other. However you do it, it doesn't matter. Whatever side you want to do. So you've got this whole thing tucked in. So basically, once it's tucked in, sometimes you might want to just take a little bit of adhesive, whether it be a glue stick or white glue or anything. And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of that right in here, just to kind of, because it just wants to come up. And I'm just going to do it right in this little part, right in there. And then as I fold it, as I get it going, what you do is you take this area here and just tuck it underneath. Just hide it. Now, there you go. You've got it hidden, and it's ready to go. Now we're just ready to put it all together, which is really easy. So here I'm going to turn it this way. This is the way you would be for your book cover. So I'm going to just take it, and I'm going to fold it along this crease line here. And you can see, and you have a little spine edge if you want it, but you want to put this together now and then just fold this part down as far as it'll go. And now you just tuck it in and it's finished. The book cover is finished, or the envelope. So now that I have it this way, now it's ready to go. So now we are ready to make our signatures. And let that kind of sit. What's great about these kinds of books, or structures, depending on the kind of paper you're using, just leave them in that position for a while, and then they have a memory, especially after the glue is dried. They'll have a memory to always go back to the same place. So for now, though, what we want to do is I already folded my signatures, or my signature, and I'm using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets. I wouldn't go more than that. I would have probably done 5, but I'm going to just do it now that I have the 6. But if you want to do several pages, like a thicker book, you would maybe do 3 to 4 sheets, and then you'd put them together, and that's another class, I think. But this is just a single signature book. So what I could do is I could actually do all of this at once, which I'm going to do. I'm going to place it in my book, and I'm just going to lay it on you definitely need something to put it in. You definitely want like a pad or something so that it doesn't hurt your table. And I'm going to poke 3 holes. So I'm going to poke right in the center in that crease. I'm just going to poke a nice hole, and I'm going to maybe about an inch away, I'll poke another hole, nice, and I'll probably drill it a little bit thicker even. If you have one of those little screw punches, that would be nice too. But I didn't. I do have one, but I didn't want to make too big of holes. So now I'm going to just confirm the hole by going through with my needle. You see I've got all of it. And I just definitely want to make sure that that hole is really there. Because I will be sewing. There we go. And one more. And just hold everything tight. If you want to, you can use a clamp to hold everything, which is, so if you did let it go, you'd still be lined up. So you could even use like little, what are those things called? The little clamps. Like I use things like, we got this thing, this little guy. And then if I do it on both sides, it's going to hold the whole thing. But in fact, I probably will right now because I've got to figure out my thread needle. So I've clamped it together so it's not going to come apart. Now, just a little trick. I have this thread. It's called just Dual Duty Plus. You can get it at any, like Walmart, I think I got it. It's a little heavier than sewing thread, so it's meant for buttons and things. And so I don't have to buy any fancy bookbinding thread. So what I need to do, and to make it a little stronger and a little better even, and not tangle as much, like right now it wants to tangle a little bit. So I'm going to untangle it because I just tangled it. And I'm going to snip the end. What you could do to strengthen your threads, any thread you have, you can use some beeswax. And then, this is available like pretty much a sewing section. But the beeswax, really, if you put the beeswax through the thread, just take it and run it through maybe, 3 or 4 times or 5 times. So you'll feel the difference on your thread. It will become stronger. It'll become, like has more grab. It's just a nice, and it strengthens it. It's really nice. So run it over the beeswax a few times. And I think I got it. That feels really good in my, feels really good. And I have a pretty wide eye needle because I don't like those little tiny ones. And this has it's kind of a dull needle, so I don't poke myself when I'm sewing with it or stitching. This is really what I use pretty much for making books. And you need your thread to be about 24 inches long. Enough because you're going to go loop this a few times. So if you want your string to be on the outside, if you want your tie to be on the outside, if you have some decorative thread, you would start your enter through the back of your envelope. But I'm going to make mine on the inside today. But if you want it to be, if you have decorative thread and you want it to go, you just go ahead and do it on the outside. But let's start by pushing our needle through, all the way through. Let me just leave a little tail in the center. And now I'm going to go to the right hole. You can see back here, coming through the right hole. I'm going to make sure I have enough tail here so that I can tie it. Now I'm going to just take it and I'm going to bring it across to the other hole. And if you have a book that's of several holes, that's how you would do it. You just kind of, there you go. So now I've got 3. Now I'm going to bring this same hole, I'm going to put it through the same hole in the middle. And what I'm doing is I have the thread on either side of that center thread. I'm going to take my needle out, and I'm just going to kind of hold, maybe make sure it's tugged, kind of snug, and that's where the wax really comes in handy because it kind of grabs nice. And I'm just going to do a nice little, just a simple slip knot in the center, and that's holding it nicely together. And I'm just going to trim it so that it doesn't dangle off the sides, but leaving it long enough. And now I have a nice little book inside my envelope thing. And I just think this is so cool. So now I've got a journal, or I can sketch in it. For little tiny quick sketches. I've got 12 pages now to work on. And with this little guy, I could put, watercolors, which would be kind of fun. Let's see, where is that one? This one, this one. So I'm going to give you the measurements for this. Like, so if I want to do a watercolor and, or a little card, I can put the card in here. I can also put another card in here. So you've got, several. Of course, that you need a smaller card. So that's why the gift card or like an artist trading card would work really nice in there. I might even have one of those, but definitely any size card that's like this size